Hello, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the second part of our public company research project for our French accounting course here at Columbus State Community College. The purpose of this particular project is really just to start you off with something really simple to make sure that you're in the right place, to make sure you're looking at the right statements, just to make sure we get off on the right foot as much as possible. You will probably work this assignment and think, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And hopefully each one of these projects is not that much harder than the one before. We're not trying to really be overly taxing with these assignments. We really want them to be really kind of easy and breezy if possible. So we really just want to keep it as simple as possible. So for this particular assignment, we're going to start you off at the same place where we were in the last project, which is we want you to go to the Edgar database and look up your assigned company. Remember to use the link that's on the screen or to go to the link that's in the assignment to find your company. Again, this is just like what you did in the first public company research project. Go to the same place to look up your company. Once you're there, we want you to find the link for the most recent 10K. And in the video for the first project, I used Dillard's and I'm going to continue to use them. That's what you're seeing on the screen here. But just want to make sure you're using the 10K, not the 10Q. We have that happen often enough where students will provide us with a 10Q, and that is not going to help you on this assignment or on any of the assignments in the public company research project. Please make sure you're finding the 10K. Well, how do I know it's on the 10K? Well, obviously you can see it says 10K right there, but when you open it, it also says 10K right in the middle of the title of the screen. If you click on the sections box, it should open up a whole bunch of different shortcuts for different places you can go in the financial statements. You will be using these in future assignments, so please make sure that this is here because you want the properly tagged 10K. Again, it says 10K right at the top of that as well. So just make sure that you're in the 10K and make sure that it's for the most recent year as well. Make sure you have it for the most recent year, I guess is the best thing to say. We'll talk about how to confirm it's for the most recent year shortly. The next step is you're going to now shift gears to go to your chosen selected AI/LLM to help you with this assignment. Now, again, this is up to you. You can pick any of the LLMs that we talked about in the first video, or you can use the one that you said you were going to use in the first assignment, or you can use a different one. You can use a different one for every assignment. It's entirely up to you which one you use. You will need to let your instructor know which one you used, but that's the only real requirement, is that you're able to communicate what it is to your instructor. And so once you've selected your AI LLM, then it's just a matter of getting it to answer the question that we're asking. Remember, we're asking what the fiscal year of your company is. And so that's where I started. When I pulled up the one I used for this, for like the test version that I'm showing you here, I said, can you tell me what the fiscal year of my company is? And it said, well, the problem is I don't know what company you're researching. And so you can really do this in a really casual way. You can just start by asking and then when it asks you what company, then you can just tell it what company. That's an option for you. That should give you the answer you're looking for. Or you can specifically say, I'm looking for the fiscal year for the company, and then give a link to the 10K. This is a link to the 10K right here. So you could give a similar link for your company that you could find on the website, that Edgar database. Just copy the link, paste it into your chosen program to help you along. The key is you want to make sure you get an answer, because the next step is to evaluate the answer. Here's the answer I got. Now note, it doesn't actually answer the question. Again, this is part of why we're doing this, is to make sure that you're used and comfortable to using AI, because sometimes it answers questions accurately. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it gives you answers kind of in a weird sideways way. Again, I asked it for the fiscal year end, and it spent all this time describing how the fiscal year end is determined, but it never actually said what the fiscal year end. If you look on this, you can read this. It doesn't say it's on this date. It just kind of tells you when around it is. And I could use this information to figure out what the date is. Or I could specifically have said, well, no, what's the actual date? And then have it give me an actual date. It's up to you how you want to, what information you want to provide in the assignment. I could have presented this picture in the assignment, and that's fine. Or I could have said, hey, no, give me the actual date and then type that date into the assignment. It's up to you how you want to evaluate the answer and which answer you want to evaluate, but we do need an answer to the question that you can evaluate. Because this is the most important thing we want you to be doing, which is basically, were they correct? Did they give you the right answer? The only way to do that is to check this yourself. In this case, it's very easy to check for the fiscal year of your company. So you do need to find a reference. You can't just Google it and ask Google or ask some other AI LLM. You actually have to find the 10K and find it yourself. Again, this is very, very basic. So if you open up the 10K, it's usually right there on the front. Right below 10K, it says for the fiscal year end, and then it gives you the date of the fiscal year end. Please make sure this is the most recent 10K. Like, if you're doing this, really the only way you can get this wrong in terms of your evaluation is if you pull up some old 10K from 2022. Just make sure you're finding and using the most recent 10K. If you don't want to use the front page, you could also look. The 10K will also have a note or some other place where it describes where the fiscal year is. It could be in a number of different places. And so this is a little harder for students to track down because some companies put it right at the top. Some companies put it farther down, like below the financial statements. But it's up to you. Find the fiscal year. And you can also just search for fiscal year, and that's a good way to find it as well. Regardless, you want to find the fiscal. And if you look at the 10K, you can see this is the language that ChatGPT used, my AI LLM used when it was answering the question. It didn't actually, this actually gives the answer. It does say it's on February 1st, 2025, January 31st, 2026, February 3rd, 2020. It does answer the question here, but you can see where ChatGPT got the answer that they gave me about the fiscal year end here. Regardless, find an answer, the actual answer to the question, so you can compare that to what ChatGPT told you. Also, make sure that you note the page number that you found the answer on. Your instructor is going to be evaluating your evaluation. And so you want to make sure that as the instructor is evaluating your evaluation, that they're doing that based on what you actually used to evaluate. So please write down the page number you used to evaluate. Sometimes, and this will be more important with future projects, but because the fiscal year is pretty easy to find. You either found it on page 1, which is the title page, or you found it later on. Regardless, it should be pretty easy to verify. But in some of the future projects, that page number is going to be important. And so please just make sure you get in the practice of recording that and including that in your submission, which is where we are. Again, you're essentially done. Make sure, if you want to get full credit on the assignment, you need to make sure you're including what AI/LLM you use to assist you with the assignment. Just write the name of it. I used Grok, I used ChatGPT, I used Gemini, I used whatever you use, just write that in the assignment. Give a summary of the answer that the AI LLM gave you. You can take a snip of it. You can rewrite it. You can just say, the LLM told me, and then say what the answer is. It's fine. Just give us an answer. And then, again, the most important piece is what your evaluation of that response was. I looked it up, and I think that the AI LLM was correct. Or I looked and it wasn't correct. Either it didn't give me the full answer, or you could give the response like I did and say, yeah, it didn't actually answer the question. It gave me some facts that are correct, but it didn't actually answer the question. That's fine too, but just make sure you include your answer and why you compared it and had the evaluation that you did. Please make sure you include a link to the 10K so that your instructor can wrap back and do their own verification, and make sure you put that page number as well where you found the information. All this information is going to help your instructor make sure that, because sometimes things can, again, with the future projects, this will be more important, but it can be sometimes a little bit confusing for students. And so just that page number is really important and really helpful. So there it is. That's the second public company research project and the first real kind of thing that you're doing, which again is a super simple, basic thing, but hopefully you found it to be not too taxing. And if you have any questions, please reach out to your instructor, and good luck.